Okay, I just want to show you where I'm at. So got the head rendering nicely. There's no feathers on the bird yet. The body. There is the wings though at this point. Um, and it's starting to look pretty good. I've got some issues with the wings folding, and it's always the hard part. So I need to try and address that and get that fixed. But right now I've got some basic controls on it down the backs of the wings, for rotating them and being able to rotate them. You'll see they spread the feathers out correctly and everything as we go here. Of course, grab them, spread them. There's also controls for the same sort of thing at the tips, which work on sections. So the middle one handles the blend between the secondaries and the primaries here, so you can see they're blending nicely. Also, when you rotate these controls around the X, you're going to get a blending of a bend from in this case out from the middle to the beginning and end of the wing, and so we can see that you can twist it and bend it, so you can twist the feathers as well. So that's working pretty good. These ones here are just meant for really kind of an up down. You can just sort of help bend them. I'm hoping that helps me be able to get them to fold a bit better and get that working nicely. So that's obviously on both wings. Feet are pretty straight up. I don't know if you like this kind of setup, but I've got a foot rig that allows you to be able to just use one control, and it will allow you to be able to pose it on the floor and move it around. Up and down kind of goes into a grab. I can put individual controls on every joint if you want. It doesn't really matter to me how you want that set up. And of course the typical knee control. So the legs are just IK. Now what there is, if you select the main control on the foot, um, there is locks here. So at this current point, if you move the body, feet stay put, but you guys are going to need them flying. So if you lock them to the body, the feet are going to lock them to the body. Now this rig is not moving quick. I'm going to have to do something, give you some switches to be able to turn off sets of feathers and stuff and whatnot, because with all the layers of feathers going on, it's starting to slow down. So we're really probably turn off all of the coverts, and it'll speed it up, as well as the body feathers. I'm going to have in a separate mesh so that you can just stop it from following the bird entirely. So it'll be a proxy object stand-in that you can just sort of detach from it and leave it behind until render time. So let me just reset this. Okay, we'll get back to this in a second. Um, the head, then I have all these feathers going, and what I can do then is we've got the nice layers set up. We can freeze the mesh, and so we can easily get to the control objects. So what I have then up here are controls that allow us to be able to sort of blend them back. If you want to, because there's shots where I've seen where they sort of put their feathers back. These will also handle an angle from the root out, but I threw these on top, and these allow you to be able to bend them sort of forward bend, back bend, so you can kind of really comb them back and bend them side to side, if need be. So these will also bend them from the root side to side, but these are actually bending each feather from side to side. So that can, give you some good controls there. There's only two at the front and back for the side to side. It's the only way I can do it with the current tool set that I'm utilizing, that I built for this. Jaw, and in my haste, I totally forgot about an inside of a mouth. Do we need it? I guess is the question. Do I need to put something in there? Are we ever going to see the mouth open any more than that? And is it going to be at an angle? And are we never going to see it? So if we're not, then I don't think it'll matter. But let me know. Couple controls for the eyes. Now, birds don't typically blink, but they have an inner eyelid. I don't have anything for that. Do you need it again? So that's something we should address sooner than later. So let's take a look at, oh, the body all the way down, typical. Sorry, I should just mention, I've got sort of just a control at the root for the tail feathers. And then I have, again, the ability to be able to flex them, um, at the tail and be able to spread them out and whatnot. So you can grab them and spread them, and whatever else you might need to do with them. And again, I need to do some passes over those. They look odd for whatever reason with all the uh, um, transparencies going on in the scene. It's hard to see the feathers sometimes, but they render correctly because, again, it's the transparencies are just not sort of keeping up because every feather's got a bit of a transparency to it and whatnot. So careful what you're seeing. It looks wrong here, but it's not. It's actually, you can see it pop back and forward, and it maybe it's just my video card. I don't know. My system's pretty old, so it could be that. On the main control at the waist here, I have a pose saver built in, and that pose saver allows you to be able to scrub your poses. So if I click and drag on these, you'll see the wing is going into my current closed position, which I have some issues with. You can see some of these feathers aren't laying down properly and stuff, and I've got to resolve how they're sort of where they're growing from. So you can click and drag on those any amount, or if you just double click on them, they'll pop to um, whatever that pose is, and I can create more poses, but I'm going to at least try and give you the closed on each side, and try and get them to close up nicely. They're getting close, but I've got some issues. I've got some feathers that are sort of sticking out and stuff, and I have to figure out why that is. I think I know, and I think I have a solution, but I have to implement that. So I'll just hit the default again. And I can add this. This can control anything. It doesn't matter. I can put it on the tail and anywhere else. I can put it up on the head. So you let me know what you want there. Um, oh yeah, there's the head and neck. So when you move it, you can see it's free right now. These feet should be like that, so we can have the character walking, and you can see the head now uh, it's doing its pigeon thing. Select one of the head controls, any one of these three, and you can change it for flying, and it will then lock itself to the body. Okay, so be no problem there. Like I said, these feathers are the biggest slowdown right now. Turn that off. This rig doesn't have any problem. It's just all of these feathers that are going. So you might want to do the animation with them off as much as possible, and then work with them on. There are just so much going on. Now, something to note: this rig is way simpler than my previous ones. In the past, to get all these feathers to fold like this, I've had upwards of 2,000 objects and bones trying to control the feathers, and the complexity of the rigs was insane. I'm under 500 still on this rig. It's just that my feather tool for the feathers is slowing it down because the amount that it's trying to do. But it has cleaned up the rig. So I don't know that it's any slower or faster than old rigs, but its simplicity is much higher, which is good. Simplicity is better because the amount of stuff going on was getting a little nuts. So there is the character. It's rendering pretty nice. I still have texture work to do, and of course all the body feathers to do, and then resolve some of the issues of where the feathers, all the coverts are growing out of, and how they're getting distributed over the top of the wing when it folds. I think I got an answer for that, but I thought I'd do this video just to show you where I'm at, and I'm hoping to get this to you tomorrow completely working. That's my goal, is completely working. So any feedback today would be fantastic, so that I can make those changes tomorrow.